Good evening. Are you glad to be in God's house again this evening? Well, would you stand with us? We're going to go before the Lord in prayer. And, I would like to report victory. Brother Faulkner called me today, and the insurance company has agreed to repair and do all the remodel, all the repairs on the Rainbow Valley Church. Which will mean they'll probably more likely have to replace a good portion of the rafters. And so they have agreed to do that, and that is an answer to prayer. And so I thank you for praying. And also got a call yesterday. This lady calls me and she said, "How many flyers do you have?" I said, "I don't know. How many you want?" She said, 200. So, okay. And I'm going, "Well, that sounds good." She goes, "Well, I give my neighbor one." And my neighbor said, "Well, give me 200 of them, and I'll have them passed out by Saturday." Amen. She don't go to church here. I don't know this woman from Adam. But so I took her 200 flyers today. If we can, get 100 or so out on this side, and she's going to do 200 on that side. Saturday morning, maybe we'll have to drag the chairs in here Saturday night and Sunday. Wouldn't that be good? Yes, it would. So, all right. Anybody have a prayer request?
Remember Daryl, Debbie, and Evelyn in prayer.
Okay. Yes. No.
My son and me.
Yes. Anybody else?
My grandson is back from Korea and he's got some decisions to make as to what he's going to do with himself. And just, he's Christian and this God needs to give him some direction.
Yes. Amen. All right.
And give him hours, sleeping hours, right?
Yes. I can relate to that. All right. I'll tell you what, let's go before the Lord in prayer this evening. Father, we just come before this evening, God. Father, as long as we know now, Father, we come to give you praise, we come to give you thanks. Father, we thank you for answering prayer, God. We pray for our church, God. Father, we bring God this weekend service before you today, God. We pray God, send this meeting, God. Father, to hear the testimony of God, your saving grace, your delivering power. Father, we pray, God, that we will grow from this peace, love, Father, Lord, we just ask this, Jesus, Father, Father, we just ask you to work on the presence of God, married, that's God, and grace, now, Father, we pray, God, this service, Father, we ask that your will be done, give you praise, Father, we give you glory, in Jesus' name.
Praise God. I get so thrilled with Jesus. I really do. Praise God every day. Hallelujah. I get so thrilled with Jesus every moment of the day. I get so thrilled with Jesus. He's the truth, the light, the way. I get so thrilled with Jesus. He satisfies my longing soul. I get so thrilled with Jesus. Oh, he's the one who made me whole. Hallelujah. God's wonderful people. I do love the thrill when we get together and worship Him. Amen. I love the thrill that I feel when I get together with God's wonderful people. Love the thrill that I feel when I get together with God's wonderful people. What a sight just to see all the happy faces praising God in heavenly places. What a thrill that I feel when I get together with oldie, but it's a timeless oldie. I love it. Praise God. Fill my way every day with love. Fill my way every day with love as I walk with the heavenly dove. Let me go all the while with a song and a smile. Fill my way every day with love. Let me walk, blessed Lord, in the way thou hast gone, leading straight to the land above. Giving cheer everywhere to the sad and the lone. Fill my way every day with love. Fill my way every day with love as I walk with the heavenly dove. Let me go all the while with a song and a smile. Fill my way every day with love. Keep me close to the side of my Savior and God. Let me never in darkness grow. Keep my path free from wrath and my soul satisfied. Fill my way every day with love. Oh, fill my way every day with love as I walk with the heavenly dove. Let me go all the while with a song and a smile. Fill my way every day with love. Well, soon this race will be o'er, and I'll travel no more, but abide in my home. Oh, let me sing, blessed King, all the way to the shore. Fill my way every day with love. Lord, fill my way every day with love as I walk with the heavenly dove. Oh, let me go all the while with a song and a smile. Fill my way every day with love. Praise God. Hallelujah.
Brother Lee, would you come receive the offering portion?
Family of God, hallelujah. I'm so glad I'm a part of the family of God. I've been washed in the fountain, cleansed by His blood. Join hands with Jesus as we travel His side. For I'm part of the family of God. Hallelujah. You know, these songs all mention basically the same thing. We're a family. Hallelujah. And our duty as a family is to love one another. Yes. Praise God. Fill my cup, Lord. I lift it up, Lord. Come and quench this thirsting of my soul. just enough to fill the edge of the cup. I want to run it over. Praise God. There's a river. Hallelujah. And there's unlimited supplies of that living water. Praise God. He said, there is a river that flows from God above. There is a fountain that's filled with His great love. Come to this water. There is forest alive.
You ladies, you may be seated. We're looking forward to a great time this weekend. I received a call from Brother Ken Tutwiler, who is the head chaplain for the Cops Ministry, and he said, "What's your program for Saturday night?" I said, "Well, we're going to, told him we're going to have some guys speaking and return it to you." I said, he goes, "Well, do we have time?" I said, "Listen, brother, we're on God's time." Good. I said, "Well, whatever God has laid or given you guys, we're going to do it. We're going to start at 6 o'clock. We're going to have plenty of time. We're not going to be rushed. Because, you know what, I want God to be able to touch lives." And he said, "Well, I have a Phoenix police officer that is going to be giving his testimony.
Praise God.
He said, where he come from to where he is now. And he said also, there is he's bringing a gentleman with him that was in prison for 2 counts of first-degree murder. And God has set him free, delivered him, and he's out, and he's going to be coming and sharing his testimony. You usually don't see the streets with 2 first-degree murder charges. So I want you to come expecting God and be in much prayer the next few days. I mean, I know you've been praying, but I'm looking for a great time in the Lord. I tell you what, there's an excitement in the air about this, and one of the correctional officers, a couple of them from the prison, has told me that if nothing happens, they will be here this weekend for one or both of the services. One officer correctional officer from down in Florence has also told me that if nothing happens, he will be here. He's going to drive up from Florence for this service. We want these people to know that there's people here that care. We want them to know that these people that care. And we want them to understand, that this, again, as I've said before, it's just, I don't want to get on my soapbox. But we've got to let the community know that we want them. Amen. And that as Brother Ken Tutwiler always said in every service that he conducted for me in the prison, he said, we don't judge you, you don't judge us. And so that's what we want. So be in much prayer. And let's pray that as we hand out these flyers on Saturday, that God will just touch people's hearts when they see them. And, like I said, it's not, put it this way, this is not normally how you would advertise a revival. We're going to have cops and robbers. They don't usually do that. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, now also, I want you to pray about another thing. I contacted the man that wrote that placed our ad in the newspaper for us. And I said, Chris, I know you guys do some community stuff. He goes, yeah. I said, man, I got a community story for your newspaper that is probably the greatest one you've heard of in a long time. And so I told him about it. I sent him a copy of the flyer, and he sent it to 2 different newspaper reporters in their office, and he told both of them, I think you need to cover this story. So they possibly may be here. I sent an email to Channel 3, to their community relations desk, and I explained the whole thing to them. I haven't heard from them, but that's all right. God can still talk to them between now and this weekend. Amen. And you say, why are you doing that? You know what? I want the world to know. Exactly. I want this state and this community to know, this Metro Phoenix area to understand that there's a place that you can go where you will be loved. That's what everybody's looking for, is love. Everybody's looking to be loved. And everybody's looking for acceptance. Bottom line, they're looking for acceptance. And so anyway, I want to talk to you tonight just for a little bit on the topic abundant salvation. A lot of people have just enough salvation to keep them going to hell. They got just enough salvation, and they're happy with that. I'm just glad I'm saved and going to heaven. And that's really about the extent of their salvation. They can't see beyond the fact that, well, at least I'm not going to hell. But He gives us abundant salvation. Yes. When He saved us, He gave us more than what we needed. Amen. Abundance means more than what you need. It's an extra supply, above and beyond. And I don't know about you, but I got an abundant salvation. Now, I got more than just a ticket to heaven. But when I get there, things are going to be great for me. First of all, we're going to receive a royal welcome when we get to heaven. royal welcome. We're not going to get there. And he's going to say, well, go through that door and follow the signs. I heard that a lot the last week and a half. Well, when you go through that door, just follow the signs. But we're going to get a royal reception. He says in Matthew 25:34, says, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand. Oh, we're not going to be brought into heaven by one of the helpers or by one of the associates. You know? But he said the king himself. Oh, listen, if you can get an invitation and you get one directly from the king or the queen, you know that you're going to get royal treatment. Amen. He said, you know what? He said, you're going to receive a royal welcome. He said, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come ye blessed, for my Father inherit the kingdom prepared for you. Heaven is prepared for you. It is prepared for me. And he said, look, you know what? The king himself is going to say, look, come on in. Come on in, because the Father has made place for you. I want to tell you, I don't know about you, but my serving God is more than just trying to keep him going to hell. That's a pretty good reason. Probably about the best reason I guess you could think of for being a Christian is not go to hell. But that's not the reason. The reason we serve Him is because we love Him. And if we love Him, then He makes things for us and provisions for us that the natural mind can't even handle. Amen. John 14:1 says, in my Father's house are many mansions. I've heard people say, well, I don't really care if I get a mansion or not. Just give me a place. Well, I got news for you. Heaven is going to be mansions throughout. There ain't going to be no cabins in the corner of Glory Land. There ain't going to be no wooden cabins over there. There ain't going to be no log cabins. Let me tell you, it's all going to be joy. And He is going to welcome us into that with a grand entrance. I'm not one for someone just to, make over me, and I'm just not for that. I'm usually just happy to be where I am if it's somewhere I want to be. I'm good with just being there. We was on that tour. There's 27 preachers, and there's always a couple that's got to be. I just sit in the back of the bus. I was just happy to be there. Amen. But I'm going to tell you something. When I get to heaven, I'm going to enjoy a royal entrance into that city. I'm going to enjoy a royal reception from Jesus Himself. As He says, welcome in, thou good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few. Now I'm going to make you ruler over many. And I'm going into that city. And I'm going in shouting. I'm going in praising God. I'm going in knowing that my salvation has been abundant. It has been more than I thought it could be. It has been more than I dreamed of. But I'm going there. And He said, listen, this is the King Himself is going to do this. I can guarantee you everybody that gets invited to the White House comes in, but the President is not the one answering the door. The President is not the one when the doorbell rings. He comes to the door. Somebody else comes to the door and they welcome you in and they say, go this way, go that way, and you will find the man. Well, you know something? The man is going to be sitting at the door. I said the man is going to be the keeper of the door, and He Himself is going to welcome me in to the presence of God, into that city where the Lamb is the light. Then he says this: our afflictions will add to our final glory. Nobody likes afflictions. Nobody likes afflictions. But he said in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17, he said, for our light affliction, which is for but a moment. Don't let your afflictions overshadow heaven. Don't let your afflictions overshadow that day when Jesus comes back. Don't let that overshadow your salvation. But I want you to know something. He said, but for our light affliction, which is for but a moment, worketh for us far more exceeding and eternal weight in glory. You know what he said? You can go through your afflictions. If you can go through your trials, you can go through your temptations. You can go through all the things that's going to try to stumble you and trip you up. But he said when you get there, because you have overcome those things, because you have been faithful over those things, then glory is waiting for you. Oh, don't give up on those things. Don't stumble at every little thing that comes your way. Listen, you have not been promised a bed of roses. You have not been promised that you're going to get saved and ride around on some magic carpet off up here and just float around up here in a perfect world, and on your way to heaven you're going to have afflictions, you're going to have things come your way. But he said those things that you overcome will be great reward for you. Amen. When you see Jesus.
Amen.
Oh, listen, we've all gone through things. Every day we go through things. We all have afflictions. But you know what? The Bible said greater is He within me than he that is in the world. Who's in the world? Satan is in the world. Who's bringing your afflictions? The devil is bringing your afflictions. And what he's saying is, overcome those things. Rise above them. I went up to the hospital last night to see Melvin. They had taken him up there because of his headaches. And I got there just as he was leaving. And we was praying out in the parking lot. And you know what I heard him say? He said, devil, you are under my feet. Oh, listen what I'm saying. He said, devil, you're under my feet. I'm not going back. I'm not turning back. I'll never serve you again. I'll never go your way again. And I mean, we begin to pray, and you could feel the presence of God. Why? Because when he got saved, he got an abundant salvation. I said, he got an abundant salvation. He got more than one to keep him out of hell, but he got one that's going to take you to heaven. Listen, when I heard him begin to pray, tears begin to roll. You know why? Because here is a man that has overcome some afflictions. Amen. He's overcome some things. He's been delivered from some things that some of us wouldn't even have an idea of what they were about. But he was staggering around. He could hardly stand up. His wife had a hold of him on one arm, and I had a hold of him on the other. And he's raising his hand, and he's doing this. He said, devil, you're under my foot. Devil, you're under my foot. Why? Because when he rises to go to meet the Lord, he will have the grand entrance, and the afflictions that he has overcome will be of great reward. Amen. That may not excite anyone else, but when you know what you know that you know about someone, and you know about where they walked, and he said, those light afflictions, but you just don't know.
That's right.
I don't even know. God knows. You got to remember one thing. That burden that you're carrying that's got you weighted down, that belongs belongs to God. It don't belong to you. Quit admitting that you're carrying a heavy load. Because he said light afflictions. What does that mean? That means that you know you're afflicted, but you know who's in charge.
Yes.
Oh, you talk to people just so loaded down with heavy burdens. They're not your burdens, they belong to God. He said you're going to have them, but don't let them overpower you. Don't let them overtake you. Rise above and stand firm in God and give them to God. They may not go away, but the burden and the weight of them will go away if you call upon the name of Jesus.
Amen.
And quit saying they're yours.
Amen.
They're not yours. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 11. We talked a little bit about that. But we're going to have a triumphant entrance. I don't know if y'all watch Andy Griffith or not. That's my favorite show. That's my favorite show. I watch it all the time. And I thought today, kind of related to, there's a guy, one of the locals had made a deal with the guitar, playing in the band and everything. He shows back up in Maryberry today. Well, they found out he was coming. Barney said, oh, we got to have a parade. Oh, we got to have a parade for him. Oh, we got to, we got to get this. And he gets the band together. Not much of a band, but he got them together. And he said, now we're going to do this and do that. And he's looking around and he goes, what are you looking for? So I'm looking for a whistle. See, what do you mean you have a whistle? Oh, you can't have a grand parade unless you got a whistle. So the guy, he's going to go out to the edge of town and he's going to meet the guy. And he's going to play the sirens and he's going to bring him into this town. Let everybody know that he's back in town. Barney's looking for a whistle. The door opens, this guy comes in. And Barney's talking to him and all of a sudden he goes, wait, what's going on? You were supposed to have a parade in the town. It's all messed up. I'm going to tell you something. We're going to have a triumph.
Amen.
I said a triumphant entrance into that city. Yes. Oh, I don't know if they're going to be blowing whistles or not, but they're going to be sounding trumpets. The angels are going to be playing their harps. They're going to be singing. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be shouting. There's going to be rejoicing. There's going to be people acting completely out of the norm. Amen. Oh, I can never dance in the Spirit. No, you can't with that attitude, but you can. But when you get to heaven, you're going to find yourself doing things that you did not know you would do. It's like having a grandkid. They'll make you act in public like you would never dream of acting. They will. You'll do things in public with your grandkids that you would never dream that you would ever do. I tell you, when you get to heaven, you're going to be doing things that you can't even imagine. You're going to be, I don't know what you're going to be doing, but I guarantee you ain't going to be standing up against a wall like this. Come on now. You're not going to be standing up against a wall like that. No. Saying to yourself, oh, I just don't know. I just couldn't get out there and do that. Let me tell you something. It's going to be a grand
stand triumphant when we're marched through the streets of gold, down through that city, and we begin to see the beauty of what God has prepared. And all of a sudden, we begin to see family, and we begin to see friends, and we begin to see loved ones that's gone on before. And all of a sudden, they're going to be doing things. All of a sudden, you're going to see crippled people that didn't walk. They're going to see them running. You're going to see them jumping. You're going to see blind people walking around and going, knowing where they're at. And they're going to look at you for the first time and say, I know you. I know you. I know you. Why? Because when we enter that city, I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be a time of rejoicing, a time of shouting, a time of praising God. Amen. I just wish we could get people to praise God in church. Amen. Preach it. Just get people to praise God in church. Amen. Just lift your hands. Amen. No, lift them. Amen. That's true. What if somebody sees me? Well, guess what? Guess what? When you get to heaven, there ain't no place to hide. Ain't gonna be no hiding places. Ain't gonna find no corner to duck into. Because it don't say anything about being divided off into rooms.
Praise the Lord.
Had a guy tell me that one time. He said, Richard, my dad always carried a pocket full of ink pens. He was a car salesman. He always carried a pocket full of ink pens. Did he know? I mean, all the way across. Yes, he did. And he come across this pastor one time from another church organization. And he come up to me and he said, Pastor, what are you doing with all those pens? He said, write with them. Well, don't you know? You're not supposed to have that kind of stuff. My dad said, what do you mean? You know, it's almost as bad as you know, he said, you're not supposed to be wearing jewelry and all this other stuff. And he said, those pins are the same way. My dad said, really? I said, yeah. My dad said, well, where does the Bible say you just have a wedding ring and a wristwatch? Well, brother, I just got to tell you this. Because of what you're doing, this is a true story. He said, that's no difference than me having a big gold bracelet on and me having this and all my fingers full of rings. God don't want, no, you're supposed to be simple and plain. And he said, because of what you're doing, I just want you to know, when you know, you will not be a part of the bride when you get to heaven. I'm not kidding. I'm telling the truth. He goes, no, you won't be. He said, when you get there, because you're wearing all this stuff, you're wearing all this stuff, he said, you will be there as a guest. My dad looked at him and he says, I'm going to tell you something, brother. Now you listen really good. Because he said, well, you think you got heaven all to yourself. He said, you're going to hear a little short, fat cowboy preacher, and he'll be over in the corner, and he'll be jumping up and down, and he'll be screaming, and he'll be hollering, and he'll be worshiping God, and you look, and you're going to find out it's going to be me. People got these crazy ideas. Don't say anything about being divided up by organization, denomination.
Right. That's right.
But he says, for an entrance shall be ministered unto you abundantly into everlasting kingdom of the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Listen, It's a triumphant thing. Where they, oh man. I am glad of this one thing. I am glad that when a couple gets married, that the groom don't have to walk down the aisle.
Probably.
I'm glad that they don't have to make the grand entrance.
Or change your name.
I wouldn't do well with that. Everybody stand and turn around and stand. At least when she's coming this way, they're not looking at you up there. But I will tell you, one of the greatest places to be at a wedding, if you're a participant in it, is to be standing here as the bridegroom when the door opens and the bride. I said the bride comes through that door. I want you to know something. There is a beauty beyond imagination. It may not be in everybody's eyes, but the groom is seeing his bride prettier than he's ever seen her before. He's seeing her different than he's ever seen her before. And I want you to know, when we enter that city, we're going to be adorned as a bride. We're going through there with a beauty beyond our imagination. We're going to be with Jesus, and He's going to take us in and walk us through. Oh, hallelujah. I don't know about you, but I'm excited about being able to go through that gate and to be with Jesus. When I got married, some of you may know the church that Spurgeon O'Donnell pastored over on 11th Street in Garfield. That thing seemed, when I was standing on that platform, that church seemed like it was 11 miles long. And I was standing here, I was going to be, I had the whole thing down. But I want you to know, when that song began to play, and everybody began to rise, and when she started walking down that aisle, I started blubbering like a baby. I cried all the way through my way. Somebody said, "Was you that sad?" I said, "No." I said, "I saw a beauty I had never saw before. I sensed a love that I had never sensed before. And when I see it, I just wonder if Jesus is going to be able to hold back the tears at the beauty of His bride as they come through the gates. I just wonder if He's not going to shed some tears when He sees the beauty of His bride as they triumphantly enter into the city that He's gone and prepared for them." Amen. I caught havoc for that from my dad forever. He couldn't tell anybody about me getting married, but he had to tell them about me bawling. I said, "Dad, you don't need to add that. That's really not necessary." But there was something. Oh, listen, we're going to have an abundant entrance into that city. Oh, listen, and then in Revelation chapter 7. Oh, yes. Now, you might get invited to the White House, but you're probably not going to get to sit behind the desk.
Amen.
You're probably not going to get to sit next to the desk. Huh? You might get you get to be in the room with Him. And He may or may not come by and shake your hand. But according to this, we're going to sit at the throne of Jesus and our Father and the Holy Ghost. We're going going to get to sit at that throne. It said in Romans chapter 7, verse 14, and I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of the great tribulation and have washed their robes and made themselves white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore, they before the throne of God serve him day and night in his temple, and they sitteth on the throne, shall dwell among them. Oh, listen, we're going to get to sit at the throne. I said we're going to get to sit at the throne of Jesus. We're going to get to be right there beside him. We were in Israel and in Jerusalem, and they took us to the place to where they think they would tell you this is not 100% accurate, but we feel like this is where the Last Supper took place. But they also feel like that the where this Last Supper took place was the place of the upper room. But as I stood there, we were standing there and just thinking about it, and you know what? I had been thinking about, well, this was the Last Supper, and we went down to the tomb. You know, I know it's just a hole in the rock but you know, people, it's just a hole. Let me tell you something. There's something about it because it has been proven that is the place where they laid my Jesus. But one day he come out of there and he himself made a glorious entrance back in to the city of God to be with his Father.
Amen.
You see, they always say there's no place like home. That's what Jesus thought for 33 years. For 33 years, he thought, if I could just go back home. I would give anything to be able to go back home and sit at the table with my mom and dad. I would give anything. But Jesus, all this time he's growing up and all that he's facing and all this, and he's I'm sure one thing he could think about was this: I'm going home.
Amen.
I was thinking this. Sister Jim was telling about her grandson been over to Korea, wasn't it? Been over to Korea, and she said he come home this past weekend, and she said he was so glad to be back home. I'm going to tell you something. Jesus went home to prepare for us a home. You see, he went home to make us a home. And he's coming back. And one of these days we're going to go home and we're going to sit with him. Oh, listen. We're going to sit around the throne eternal. We're going to be free. As we sing this song, free from the cares of this world, free from the worries of this life, free. We don't have to worry about. I noticed one thing in Israel, their light switches are different. They turn on different than ours do. Everything is a little bit different. But I got to thinking about that when we get to heaven. The Bible said he is going to be the light of that city. They're not going to be they're not going to be an equipment room. There's not going to be a maintenance staff anywhere. But he said, I'm going to be the light of that city. An abundant salvation. I don't know what your salvation means to you, but mine means heaven. But I say mine means heaven. Mine means being with Jesus for the everlasting life. Mine throughout eternity, where I'm going to go and sit with Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Won't have to worry about anything. I've heard people say, I just wish I could live a life where I didn't have to worry about anything. Well, you really don't have to worry about anything. We just choose to worry about stuff.
Amen.
I just want to go to that place where I don't have to ever think about worrying about anything.
There you go.
There'll be nothing there to worry about. Abundant salvation is promised to you and I. I said it's promised to you and I. And I just, well, I'll tell you what I think about what God has done and what He's doing. And Lord, help us to help someone else this weekend to find this abundant salvation.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
To find this abundant salvation. I can't tell you how many times in 17 and a half years I have heard the words, I'm done, I'm through, I'm never coming back. I'm done, I'm through, I'm never coming back.
Hallelujah.
Once I walk out the doors of this place, I'm never coming back. When I leave this life to go be with the Lord, I ain't never coming back.
Amen.
I am done with this life. I'm done with this toil and this trials and all the things that I'm going to leave behind. Well, I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about going to heaven. But I'm enjoying my trip going there. I'm enjoying my trip going there, okay? I'm ready to go, but I'm enjoying my trip going there. Why? Because I know what's beyond this life. And I'm ready to go. All right, I'll tell you what. Anybody need prayer before we're dismissed? I'll tell you what, I tell you what, get ready for this weekend, folks. You know what? By faith, here's what I'm going to do by faith. By faith, I'm going to take that platform full of folding chairs. I'm going to roll it outside by faith. I may just roll it back in, but I'm going to roll it out by faith that we're going to be bringing them in here and lining them up in these pews.
Thank you.
No, we will.
Why? Because I'm believing for a great outpouring of the Holy Ghost and a move of salvation touching hearts and lives. Well, be praying for this weekend service. All right, we'll just stand with us. We're going to be dismissed. I hope we've said something that's encouraged you, made you feel good. I feel good in the Lord, and I'm excited about what God is fixing to do. And I'll tell you what, I want to see these altars filled Sunday morning more than anything else. I'd like to see both front pews and both altar ditches and everywhere else with people on their knees seeking God. I believe it can happen. All right, we're going to be dismissed. Brother Lenny, would you dismiss us in prayer?